Hello, hello everyone. It's that time once again. It's time for more working on Eldritchrune. I was kind of hoping that I would be able to work on the Garrison scene today, but I'm still working on the roughs for that. They're not quite done yet, so I didn't want to be in the middle of that while I was doing a stream, so... Water. So, I'm going to be working on more ending stuff today. Although, I think I will try and, I'm going to try and maybe do an art stream in the middle of the week for the Garrison scene. Hello, thank you for coming. Hope you are doing well. Today, I'm going to be doing some, like, character shading. I haven't done that in a while. This is all the way back in, like, part 2 of 20. Hooray! But this should not be any difficult thing to work on. Should be all good. Nice. We're all coloring. It's coloring all around. It's coloring time. And by coloring, I mean filling in black and white. Honestly, I probably shouldn't even shade those ones. They're just little guys. Oh, good grief. What happened here? That's terrible. What happened here? Did I not? I must not have done this correctly. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that mess. Jeez. I'm gonna have to fix that. This is why you gotta do the expand selection by like at least 5 frames or whatever it is. Not 5 frames. 5 pixels. That's why I usually do that. Because otherwise you get this and it looks bad. Now I gotta fix it. That's kind of annoying. I hope this didn't happen with all of it. Probably all of this page, at least. Ugh. Fine. It's easy to fix, just annoying. I cannot believe I messed that up. Yep, QC being hassled by one of the Empire Guards. She is not going to have a good day. It's going to be quite a bad day. Over here, too. I'm just being annoying. What? I didn't even fill that one in. Apparently we just totally messed up on this page. Look at this. Look at this mess. Couldn't even tell from the first time I did it. There's Shay Undertale. It will get worse soon. It's getting worse right now. Here's Undyne. Will her day get worse? Yes, it will. I know, they were so unprofessional. I'm gonna fire them. Me, you're fired. No, then who else will do this? Alfie's will. It's Alfie's turn at the thing now. She's gonna be very fast, as you'll see, as soon as she moves from her spot in her log. Alfie stream. I don't know if I could ever do a Alfie stream the same way people do streams of their pets, because most of the time she's just spent, you know, be the next Iron Mouse. True. I don't know much at all about the big VTuber scene. I know there was that big scandal that went down recently because I guess it was VShojo like didn't pay Iron Mouse and a bunch of other people like $1 million that was supposed to go to charity. That's pretty bad. And then it folded. I don't know. Pay your creators. Consider that. That is buck wild. Like, I don't know. Like, how do they do that? Thinking, oh, I'll get away with this. I guess the problem is they do get away with it until they don't. Can't last forever. Yeah, like she did a big charity stream that was supposed to be donated, and then the money that she got through that was just apparently not donated. Like, VShojo just took that money. Not good. I don't know, steal from our business base. That'll go over great. Yeah, they had no money. I don't know. Get a better business model. Listen to Manure Pants over here. He has a great business model of someday the girls will think I'm cute if I stop smelling like horse crap. It's foolproof. Yeah, pretty much. Average American tech startup be like, what if A, disrupt market, B, steal from our business base, C, question mark, D, profit. Also E, buy regulators so they don't regulate us. Bonus points if you can just generate your own monopoly. You start looking for fellow horse girls. What's that horse gotcha game going around now? Maybe that'll work out for him. I don't know much. I don't pay attention to gotcha games. I just know there is horse girl gotcha game. The girls are horses, and you bet on which girl horse is going to win, I think? I don't know. All I know is girl horses and gotcha. And the gotchi ball. And Burger Pants gets isekai'd into the horse girl game. Congrats, you are now a horse girl, Burger Pants. Or you have to clean up after them still. That's what happens if you get eaten by Birdly. You get isekai'd into a game, but it's still in the worst possible position. Should have seen this coming. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. I'm fixing my stupid mistakes that I made on this previously, because apparently I didn't do the fills on this correctly. That better not be the case with the next page, or I'm going to be a little annoyed. I was just trying to shade in these guys, and then they looked like, ah! I gotta fix that. I got isekai'd into a horse girl game, but I'm still mucking the stables. 1 million copies sold. Who's that? That's Aaron. You will recall Aaron. Speaking of horse girls. No, all of these are supposed to be lighteners that we know. I made a whole sheet of them and everything. I did. I just was like, oh geez, am I gonna get isekai'd into the horse girl game? I better not be. Okay. Mostly just doing fills on these guys. Yep, okay, good. We did not screw up this page. Just the first page, apparently. We'll do fills. Proper fills on these guys first, and then we'll go back and do the shading they need. There's gonna be a fountain of darkness there. Trust. It'll happen. But usually I do like SFX is one of the last things I do. And that includes like smokes and darknesses and fire and whatever. It's Azzy! He's just in time! Whoops. I hope we see him in canon eventually. He gotta show up. Just in time for the madness to go down here too. Let's see. These little guys back here. Will the Desreal come true? In canon, we'll find out next time on Eldritchrune Z. Huh. Weird. I thought I had Chris at a different color than that. I'll have to fix that. Winks of fear beyond comprehension. True. No, there's a dark fountain that popped out. Literally, I was just saying, I'm gonna add a dark fountain later. I do effects last. I just said. It's like, wow, I'm home. Canon Israel, some choir college boy and an Eldritchrune zombie, a girl that represents the end of the world. It's true love. True, true. Chris isn't sure how to feel. It's complicated. Feelings are complicated. Oh, I forgot this guy too. Get over here. And it's hard when there's a lot of like little guys and it's like, oh, I forgot this little guy again. And Birdley will get him. Or somebody will. Oh, sheesh. Wrong layered. No wonder I was like, huh? Where's my masking clip? Not there, apparently. Yeah, Chris feels a little conflicted about, huh? Homesick, but also everybody's probably gonna die. Oh, shoot. Where's the line? Apparently not here. Whee! No mercy, Chris. No regrets. But isn't it fun to have doubts? No, it's not very fun, actually. It's like I was stuck in the hell dimension for a year. It was not fun. Sure I get all of them. Some of these are on separate layers, some of them are not. Color pencils. The world gets to be nice and scary too. Okay. Everybody's like, oh, giant deer coming through. Get these guys. Now it's time for running. Gotta make sure I get everybody. The very bad gay baby jail. The worst kind of gay baby jail. The one with the horrors. Okay. Get them over here. The gay horrors, true. The gay baby jail that literally eats your age so you turn into a baby. I went to the dark world that makes you a baby. The what? The dark world that makes you a baby. Yeah, exactly. The beach world, but in reverse. I went to the dark world that makes you old. I've never heard of the dark world that makes you old. Dude, go there. You'll totally get old. I'm not gonna get old. And I think it's the rocks that make you old. I've not seen that movie. I don't really intend to. All I know is the joke. Evil Garrison would be like, I'm young! True. Garrison, no! You're supposed to be old! I'm old. I think they should be under canopy, so probably should have. Mostly on that. If I was an Eldritch Horror in this, what would my thing be? I think I already drew that. I drew that a while ago. I drew my Eldritchrune persona. I'd have to go dig it up. Yeah, it's somewhere. I don't think it's in the master post or anything. But it's somewhere around. It's okay, Chris. I'm old. Good. Stay old. Those were some funny jokes. Okay, Chris. I'm glooby. Good. Stay glooby. Okay, I admit it. I'm glooby sometimes. What's so wrong with being glooby? Aren't we all glooby sometimes? You can't get this from an egg. Oh, I don't know. I've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh! It's okay not to smile, but no crying until the end. Oh no. Oh, I know I'm gonna be crying by the end. That's just how it's gonna be. Whatever it is, something is gonna make me cry. And it's gonna make me cry. I know that is in my future regarding this game. The question is, what will it be? What many things will it be, likely? Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And all that. Yeah, oh, the diner scene. I know. Oh, Ralsei. This poor boy. This poor little guy. We'll see what happens. Everybody got their predictions. I think he's the one of the cast that's not gonna make it to the end. Whatever the prophecy might say. Which everybody's probably gonna be guessing on that until end of time. Until we find out one way or another. Imagine we never find out what it says. Good grief. When you see things happen, it's like, is this a prophecy? I don't know. We'll have to go off of context cues. Good. Stay guessing. Pretty much. Nope. Monsters are not my jurisdiction. Well, also monsters haven't shown up yet. They're just kind of getting hassled by these guys being annoying. Yep, pretty much. That's my jurisdiction. That would be a cool way for him to go, but then it's like, yeah, this is my cousin Ralsei. You have the meme where Asriel's like, why do you look like me? I want to finally see Asriel too. Show us the college boy. Let us see what a dork he is. Let us see the dork. Oh yeah, they will point it out to Susie. Now see, he's taller and his horns point the other way, and They're not pink and... Okay, I get it. Like, are you admiring my hat? Please do. The distant cousin. Not Togor, though. We'll just keep expanding the Dreamer family until it's just like every goat we can possibly think of. You're all a family now. Shay, it's too late. You're going to hell. Can't I just go to bed instead? It's okay. They'll just speed run. They'll just outrun the beasts. No, they won't. No. More guys. Or rather, hell is going to you. Dun dun dun. Me when I'm trying to go about my day and then the dark world shows up. Right in the middle of the town. I'm like, oh, how will this affect the trout population or whatever the meme is? He should have gotten out of ruins faster. I mean, you can explain it, sure. Borrow MK, they don't get to do very much. They're just kind of hanging around. Wish I could do more. This is why I haven't included Snowy. I'm like, I barely know what to do with MK. I think the encounter with MK just went pretty badly for all involved, and he was not recruited. We'll see. Eldritch, look, convenient ways to dispose of a body. Giant eldritch beast. It's like, hey! How's it going? Burger Pants is like the one guy I'm like, are people gonna be able to tell that it's him? Like his design is so fluid, I guess. It's distinct and yet not. Like you see a Sans Oratorial and you're like, oh yeah, that's Sans Oratorial, but you see a Burger Pants and you're like, well, that's a guy. Yeah, it's all in the expressions. You gotta give him just the weirdest expressions possible. You gotta go ham on them. You gotta squish his face all over the place. I think whatever's going on with like the Mizzle / water cooler, they're one and the same, and that it's a like a It's a water elemental that's scary. You can do scary things with water elementals. That is true. He has to just look pathetic and stressed. I was trying to think of like ways to make like the water cooler slash Mizzle or Miss Mizzle Eldritch and scary. Yeah, even El Nino and La Nina, I'm like, okay, they're weather guys. You have to figure out how to do that. Because the obvious thing would be like, you know, weather stuff, but that's a little hard to depict, basically. Give Mizzle bloodbending. That would be scary. Yeah, just definitely playing with the idea of like drowning. Cause I don't know, even just regular drowning is scary. That gotta make it all Eldritch. The holy water barrel. And they would have holy water, yeah. But like in the Eldritch world, I don't think it'd be like a barrel so much as like a pool of water. It's like, oh, we think this pool of water is safe. It's not. It is not safe. Just a matter of trying to work out, okay, how would this be scariest to depict and like weird? Oh, I don't even remember that from the show. I don't recall that. Honestly, the harder one to depict would be La Nino, because his thing was like, I'm the sun and the moon, which is basically expressed as like heat. So like a rain thing and a heat thing, a fire thing, I guess. They're basically gonna end up as like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, except reverse. Shark Girl and Lava Boy. Yeah, Miss Mizzle especially has, you know, that very fancy speech. Okay, we're not going to be coy about this. We just want to drown you. Okay. Miss Mizzle has a very fancy speech. Ominous water fountain. Beg for mercy. Or just like a spring or something. I shall not listen to your tepid words. I don't know, that's your job, not ours. Now get over here. He grabs you from 10 feet away. Oof. Just jump scares you. I don't know, I had like a image of like, you know, if Chris gets drowned or whatever, and Ross says like, oh, I'll, you know, revive them and stuff. And then even when they come back, they're just like spitting up water and they can't stop. Like there's something that's gone wrong with the Mizzle specifically. It's scary. undertows. I've had to deal with that. Chris, are you okay? Oh, maybe I should watch JoJo or something. There's so many JoJo references I don't get. I mean, heck, you don't even have to entice Chris that much. Well, like, clean water is probably not easy to come by, so it's like, wow, look at this fresh spring. Finally, some real water. No, it's a trap. You can drown them forever. Please come back. I have to figure out what the Cuptons are. Because the Cuptons in canon are just so cute and harmless. Like, how do you make those scary? I like the little Cuptons. Happy birthday, Chris. I can't swim. Yeah, it gotta be something interesting you can do with Gways, since they're basically like dead people ghosts. That'd be interesting, yeah. We do have all those candles in the sacrifice, yeah. Yeah, I think Noah at least got lessons. Can afford those. So they just overwhelm you with numbers. So many Cuptons. Yeah, they'd have to be like mindless servants of the Mizzles, because that's what they are in canon. They're like, please, my lady. On aboard the Noel Express. Sentient grails. I'm the Holy Grail. No, I'm the Holy Grail. I'm the real Holy Grail. Oh, you mean the regular Polar Express? No. Sorry, I don't like that movie. The uncanny valleyness of it. I'm like, why can't you use actual animation or actual actors? This looks weird. Yeah, Second Sanctuary enemies are really hard because that's all like the organics. I feel like you have to have a lot of sound-based enemies. They already pretty abstract and creepy, yeah. I think I would have to lean into like they don't really have like a physical form. It's like being attacked by an evil sound. A color out of space thing, but sound out of space, I guess. Problem is that's a difficult thing to depict in a visual medium. So I'd like you to imagine the worst possible thing you've ever heard. I can't draw it for you because that's not how it works. I guess it would have to be a show the effects of them rather than actually show them sort of thing. Weeping angel gimmick. I don't know what to do with Jack, because the whole thing with Jack is that, like, yeah, he's like, oh, I'm so scary, ooh, but then he's actually, like, a cute little guy. I'd have to think on that a bit. Like, how do you play with that joke? Alright, as soon as I finish this guy, well, this page will be done and we can move on to the next one. Aw. Lynxerton. That's not my name, but close enough. Aw. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. Yeah, it could be an opposite thing where he's like, I'm not scary, I'm actually really cute, and it's just like the most horrific thing you've ever seen. It's absolute nightmare city. It's so scary you can't even comprehend it. My first name is Lynx and my last name's Griffin. That's how it works. Yeah, I'm still not sure what I would do with the mics. Yesterday I at least got the script down for the Tenna boss battle. And another long one, that would be like another two-parter. But there's no mention of the mics in there. I'm not sure how I would do the mics. I couldn't fit them in. Okay, it is time for a stretch break. And we'll move on to the next page. Ugh, the Tenna one's gonna take a while to do. Ugh, I can already tell. It's just, the boss battles are complicated to draw. Hopefully cool. Hopefully it would be a cool scene, just, it's gonna take a while. At least with, like, Garrison, it's mostly just dialogue. But the other stuff is harder. 1,000 years. You might have to wait that long. I'll try and get to it. Hopefully I'll finish the Garrison one soon. I have like about 2 more free weeks. I'm starting back at work soonish, and then I'll have less time, so I'm trying to get through what I can in that time. But yes, I at least wrote the script. Have you done anything with RAM? I haven't designed RAM yet. I need to do that. I'm probably at some point I should just like do a page of maybe even do a stream of, various smaller guys I should do for Eldritchrune, but I think RAM would be included in the ERAM scene, which I do have vague outline for how that will go, and that would include RAM. It would also include Ram dying, I'm sorry. But, that happens in canon too, so I guess not all that different. We don't even see, did Ram get recruited? Is he in Castletown? I don't know if he is. But yeah, I'd have to figure out Ram's design. Probably would be kind of creepy. Stretchy. Yeah, that's true. It's not actually dying. I don't know any of these people. Yeah, I kind of wonder, we haven't seen him. Is he going to show up later, or is he they just leave him in the house? We're not recruiting him. Which, I wonder why Chris would not bring him to Castletown. That's where it is. He's the secret boss of Chapter 5. We just had to wait a little bit. Yeah, after he turns to stone, no matter what you do, he's not in Castletown. Where'd he go? What is he up to? What did you do with the sad British boy? Sad British plug. I honestly wonder how they're going to incorporate a lot of the Chapter 4 recruits into Castletown. That's gonna be like what are the Gwei gonna how are the Gwei gonna interact with people, or you know, because a lot of the chapter 4 recruits are they're kind of creepy and a little abstract and off compared to everybody we've gotten so far. Chris, that's called ascending to a higher plane. True. Yeah, good question. Alright, we'll be right back for one more stretch and water and stuff. Alrighty, I am back. Oh, yeah, sorry, I really couldn't say what that was without just spoiling what would happen in that scene. And since that's one of the scenes I actually wanted to do, I'm like, let's hide that for now. And yeah, I'm pretty sure like we get all the recruits, you know, second and third sanctuaries, in Castletown. So now you can all meet each other's ancestors and be like, wow, all of you are weird. This beast ate meat and fire. That's secret, indeed. Yeah, it was a deal of like, okay. I can't really say what this is without spoiling things. Let's say that thing seems to be specifically tied to Chris. Yeah, then we can finally have a band put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maybe we can with Chapter 5, I don't know. There's plants, that's Earth. If my ancestors want to kick my ass, so be it. Come into the party dojo. Party dojo is no longer about love. Now it's about church. We're going to church in the party dojo. That's how that works, right? Kind of wonder like what those guys are going to be involved in mostly in Castletown. At least everybody else kind of has places to, like, things to do. I'm like, what are you all gonna do? Just hang around and will we get, like, a little, like, philosophy room? Please come here to sit and drink tea and do philosophy. Our next guest, Abigail Thorne. They should get their own little hut that is just for philosophy, and they just gives you, like, you know, you can ask for, like, little fortunes or whatever, and they might give you hints about the game, or it might be nothing. Just little things like, here's the little room to drive the theorist mad. They philosophize about the Ralsei dummy. Could this too come to life one day? Ralsei, can you please not suggest that to me? What is the difference between a darkener and a lightener? Are you a darkener? Are you alive, Ralsei? Have you questioned your existence enough yet? Yes, but I can do it more. Yeah, I've had that happen sometimes. Ralsei is Ralsei did my secret boss of chapter 11. True. That's why you should have hugged the dummy. Yeah, we gotta have Jack somewhere. My guess is the reason why Susie was specifically like, oh, Jack's too big to move right now. We'll come back for him later. Is that he's gonna be at the festival. Because he was like, I usually come out for festival night, so they're gonna take him from the church to the festival. He's gonna show up there, at least in light world form. You externalized too hard, Ralsei. No. I had a weird thought of like, man, what if we get to chapter 6 and we're getting a festival dark world, but because it's outdoors, things are not contained and getting a little weird, and like you've got all these spots where basically you can like move between the light and the dark worlds pretty easily, like no great doors to go through. You're just kind of like popping in and out of them without really meaning to. Darkness are like, yeah! Jack gets all the friends. They realize how cool he is. We're gonna have to see how things go in chapter 5. I think it's definitely interesting that like 5 was originally meant to be experienced with 3 and 4. I get the feeling that 5's cliffhanger is going to be even worse than 4's or any of that. Just really bad cliffhanger for 5. And then even worse for 6. Ah! Get ready for cliffhanger action with Sylvester Stallone and all that. I'm gonna put a window in front of these guys later. Yeah, it's interesting that like 4's ending, it's like, oh, it's intriguing, but you're not like, oh, holy crap, what's gonna happen now? Like 3 would be 3 was a worse cliffhanger ending than 4, I think. Yeah, I do think the caller is Carol in some capacity. Whoever's in on the night conspiracy, the night group chat. Chris, why are you in the group chat with the knight? Oh my gosh, if we just left off with chapter 3's ending, I think the fandom would be in kind of a worse state. I mean, it's not great, but I think it would be even worse. It's like, what, we're gonna go into the bunker next episode? That would be my thought. My thought would be, okay, I guess we're doing the bunker in Chapter 4. But we're not. Tell me, what have you done? People are sacrificing each other. All according to Keikaku. Although we don't get the police sacrifice next week until Chapter 4, so we wouldn't know. We would just know, like, something's happening. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to go directly into 4. One, because I really liked 4 as a chapter. It was really fun. Yeah, that's true. Like, we gotta beat the night. If you want the shadow crystals, apparently you do. And what we'll get from that, I guess we'll find out probably around, like, Chapter 6. Since we only have one more crystal to find. According to Sean. It's Azzy! He's back in town! Just in time for trouble. What's up with the uber powerful shard? Thoughts on Friend? Not sure on what to make of Friend yet. Friend is definitely a weird thing going on. I did like this. I don't remember where I saw this. Somebody posted it in my Discord server. This one idea that basically, like, Friend and, like, the Titan and the Knight and ERAM are all kind of along the same wavelengths in terms of that they all represent different kinds of fear. Because they all got that kind of, you know, totally black shape, white outline overall. And I think it was like, you know, the Knight is like the fear of fate. Because a lot of what the Knight seems to be doing is centered around, like, you know, compelled to carry out this fate. So, you know, a fear of inevitability and death that comes with that, especially with deaths. And that Friend is specifically the fear of the unknown and, like, game glitches, and seems to come from Noelle. Because like a game glitch, Friend seems to be both, you know, can be helpful, can be harmful. It's mostly there just to kind of mess with you. Yeah, oh, I don't know. It was such a difficult boss. I'm glad I was able to finally beat the Knight. I'm just gonna cling to that save file like nobody's business, because good grief, that's such a hard battle. I'm kind of glad they nerfed at least the sword tunnel. The sword tunnel was the move that just wrecked me. Swoon, swoon, you get swooned, you get swooned, everybody gets swooned. We're all heckin' swooned. And I think what people keep forgetting is, like, we didn't even actually beat the Knight. Beating the Knight counts as getting down 25% of its health. It's not beaten. We just, like, beat it a little bit. Okay, I don't believe in Woody theory. I'm sorry. It's gone. It's dead. It's dead. I'm sorry, guys. The time for it has passed. Yeah, I definitely can't no-hit the Knight. I am not that skilled. But, the sword tunnel was always the one that just wrecked me the most. Like, a lot of the, you know, moves, I'm like, you know, okay, I can dodge this, or if I can't dodge this, okay, fair. I should have been able to if I was skilled. Sword tunnel was like, I don't think I can, I'm just gonna get wrecked. What is a god to a non-believer? That's the thing, is like, yeah, as old TV, it's like, the whole idea of the Woody theory again is like, oh yeah, we already had this, you know, opportunity to do stuff with TV. We had a whole world for it. Well, we'll just do it again, since we didn't do it last time, you know, we don't have time. Forget doing, you know, something new. We'll just do it again. Like, No. I don't think we're gonna do it again. I think we have other stuff to cover. There's nothing in Woody Theory worth talking about that we haven't already talked about with other characters. I'm getting jumped. Swoon! I'm getting swooned. I would like a Sham secret boss. I think that'd be cool. I imagine it'll be difficult. He's like, oh, you want the cool thing I made? Well, now you have to fight me for it. Oh, no! Maybe Sham for Chapter 6 in order to actually get the cool thing. Knight's such a charmer, everybody swoon. I'm pretty sure the swoon thing is a reference to, I think, what was it, like Final Fantasy 5 or 6? Well, one of them Final Fantasies. Where, like, if it's an instant... Okay, maybe 6. Yeah, if it's an instant knockout, they say the character got swooned. 4. Okay. Never mind. I was incorrect. I've only played 9, 10, 12, and 13. I think it's easier to just go by the Japanese versions because even in the West, it's like, okay, we can't keep mislabeling these anymore. We'll just call them the actual ones they are. Okay, so it was 4. One of them Final Fantasies, instant knockout, was called Swoon. So that's why it's called Swoon here. Charge after swooning too many darkness. You swooned too close to the sun. Yeah, they skipped like 2 and 3, although apparently 2 and 3 were just mostly okay. I was watching, good grief, what channel was this? Like Andrew Bluett? I just put on all of those like Final Fantasy retrospectives recently because I'm like, oh, this is very soothing to listen to and interesting and informative. So I listened to like every Final Fantasy retrospective. I think they're up to 9 by now. They were interesting. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. We are doing some shading on characters for this part. Here's the annoying dog being like, "Hawoo? Hoo-woo?" Bang and anxiety, my man. I got to fill in something else there. Oh yeah, I really like 9. 9 is a very good one. Did I read the interactive webcomic Homestuck before? I tried to read it. I read up to like the beginning of Act 6, and then I was like, oh, the alpha kids, I don't think I can keep up with this anymore, and I fell off of it. I am aware of what happens pretty much from like watching videos or listening to podcasts on like talking about Homestuck. So I am aware of Homestuck, but I did not actually finish reading it myself. I tried. I just didn't make it. Yeah, Toby has way more niche references than Final Fantasy. That's like the ones the West knows the most. Way more stuff going on there. Yeah, Asriel not having a good day, and it's about to get worse. I wish you good luck in finishing it. Again, I tried, but it is very long. It's the kind of thing where probably if I had like been a part of it when it was happening and like as it was coming out, like some of my friends were, then I probably would have been way more into it. But coming into it, like, after it's done, that's really tricky. I think it's harder to get into if you're not in the process of it coming out. He's getting gray hairs, indeed. Well, at least you found out quickly that it was not for you. Can't say I'm fond of how the creator has treated people, but at least in a litigious sense, and it seems like there's difficulties managing large teams there. That's a whole other skill, though. Yeah, again, it seems like the kind of thing that's like the part of the like appeal was being in the moment of it. Yeah, I trust me, I am aware of that. People would not stop talking about that for like 2 days. I don't really care about it being Vivzy Pop or whatever, because like, one, is she actually producing it, or is it just her company that is? Like, does she have a direct role? I don't know. Yeah, this is fearful. Again, I'm just kind of wondering, I'm like, how is this going to work as an animated series for the same way that, like, how would Undertale work as an animated series? Part of what made Homestuck, like, what it was the participation aspect of it. Like, Mahasi didn't even name the characters. The forums named the characters. Like, John Egbert was named by a guy on the MSPCA, or MSP forums or whatever. The audience participation is part of what makes it special, and I'm like, how are you going to translate that to a passive medium? Yeah, I think I think you really got to be careful. You know, it can really throw you off. Throw you off if you suddenly get like a giant fan base and you don't really know how to handle it, because that can be really, really frightening to handle. And I'm not sure if he handled that best. I think he might have in other situations, but not in other. I get the feeling that he's not a very good manager. He was also definitely overworking himself, which is not good. Who are you people? Well, the thing is like, basically, especially by the time they get to like Act 4 or something, they dropped the audience participation part of Homestuck, but like, especially the first acts, like Acts 1 and 2 and all that stuff, like, that was basically what I was doing with Anthrofractal, in that, like, you basically have the audience direct what happens. And that got... no, Andrew Hussey overworked himself when he was working on Homestuck. His schedule was untenable. You can't do that. Seriously, I'm like... I kind of wonder how well Toby learned things from Hussey. I mean, he got kind of freaked out, too, when Undertale took off with that sudden success. And he's like, oh, actually, this is scary. I think he was wise to be like, let's distance ourselves from the internet to a good degree, at least in terms of my participation in it. I'm sure he is extremely aware of fandom because, you know, he was forged in it, like a lot of us. Who are you people? Yeah, I'm really glad Toby picked up 18, because if he was trying to do this himself, it would take way longer. So, I'm glad he got a producer. Like, do not underestimate the value of a good producer. Somebody who can, like, be like, okay, this is your job, and this is your job, and this is your job, and you need to do this by this time, like, etc., etc. Like, stuff does not get done without a good producer. They make a big difference. So, I'm very glad he got a producer. I think it's smart of him to be like, I am not going to be on the internet very much. And if I do, I'm going to either talking about, you know, promotion or just little shit posts. Yeah, I mean, it's quite possible, you know, he has management troubles too. But at least from what I've seen, seems like the rest of his team isn't, you know, isn't unhappy with things. They seem to be doing okay. The game is taking a normal amount of time to come out, which I don't think means people are being overworked. And I'm working on Eldritchrune. Then if he did that, I would fly to his house and kill him. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'd be like, no, I'll finish the game. I'll just learn. I'll learn a game maker. No more of your Bitcoin minings. As he does need a hug. Because he's, I don't like where this is going. Yeah, it's a complicated thing. To my understanding. I'm still trying to read through that dang document about stuff Hussey was doing. I think his problem is that he is litigious and not a good manager. Which, you know, are not the worst sins in the world, but they're not great. And at least the main thing I've heard about Vivzy is that she's transphobic, but I haven't seen the evidence of that yet, so I would have to look more into it, and I just haven't had time to do that. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'll worry about that when I need to worry about that. But I know somebody who worked on the Homestuck pilot, so I'm like, and they seemed happy, so I'm like, okay, you know what? The important thing here is, are the artists being treated well? If they are, hooray! In this day and age, that's the thing I think is one of the more important things in a production. Please treat your artists well. Please pay them properly. Please don't overwork them. Please don't promise you'll do one thing with them and then do not. So until I hear something from the artist working on it, they're like, this was a bad experience, I'll cautiously be like, okay, this will hopefully be okay. Yeah. That is the most important thing. It is so difficult to make a TV show or a movie. Yeah, there is a big difference between, like, okay, you've done a normal human fuck up, and oh, you have a pattern of behavior that is, like, dangerous to people. And the latter one is like, okay, no, you should not be allowed in this situation because you have a consistent pattern of behavior that, you know, is bad and dangerous to the people that work under you. Like, you know, Vic Mignogna or John Kay. Those are people who should be rightfully vilified because that's bad. But, like, I don't think you should put, like, from what I understand, I wouldn't put Andrew Hussey in that position. Like, I wouldn't put them on the same level as those people. Like, sometimes people are just, you know, bad managers. And that's not great, but it's not, like, a mortal sin. There are degrees of, you know, problems in the world. And let's not all treat all problems with the same degree of severity. Let's have appropriate responses. But I probably don't know enough about any of that to give, like, a proper, I have the correct take on this. That's why I don't usually talk about that kind of stuff very much, because it's like, okay, I know I have not gone to extensive lengths to research this, so I'm just repeating what I have heard from other people who have spent more time with it. So you should probably get the information from the people who have invested more of their time in it, rather than me. Kill the non-believers. Well, that's a mentality I don't think is ever going to go away. When we are confronted with a problem, especially a complicated or persistent problem, we would much prefer to have a simple solution. I know I would. It's kind of hard to, accept crap. There are no easy solutions to this. Because the problems are complicated. Again, especially if the problem is not, oh, this person is, again, actively dangerous to the people under them, but it's just, there's nothing wrong with him, he's just annoying. you know, kind of thing. So sometimes that is the problem. Sometimes there's nothing wrong, he's just annoying. And the problem is, being annoying is for some people, that's worse. Who is this character? I totally forgot. Who were you? Which is all to say, if the Homestuck series is good, sure, I'll watch it. My main priorities are, 1, did you treat the artist well and pay them properly? And 2, how are you going to do certain things that, work best in a interactive medium? Is that doable? Like, I don't think they should actually make a Undertale cartoon or anything like that. I don't think it would work very well. The medium is the message. I know I'm definitely limited in scope by doing comics instead of like everybody does their cool fan games and stuff like that. But this is how I know to draw things, so that's what I'm gonna do. I do want to do a big project when we have the full game out. And I kind of have an idea what would be a fun way to approach it. But we need to wait and I need to wait and see, how will the game actually end first. Hopefully in a way, I'm sure whatever happens, I'm gonna want to make art about it. I'm just hoping it's like, okay, in a way that will line up pretty cool with the thought I had. Also, I just realized the time flew by and it's time for me to do my stretches. Ah, time flies when you're talking about Homestuck. So many rocks. Okay, let's stretch. Let's stretch. Whew. I think it's also, at the very least, Homestuck is an interesting artifact of, like, the kind of humor that was pretty prevalent in, like, early 2000s internet, and how it was really kind of a... Good grief, what's the word I want to use for this? Not very kind? We can invent time travel. Are we going forward or backward into the future? Which would be better? Am I going to have to make clones of myself as a baby or something? But I don't know if I want to do that. That seems too much responsibility. Yeah, but even now I think Newgrounds is different from how Newgrounds was in the early 2000s. Go back in time, slap sense into self, then leave. Boy, what was that for? It's like, you'll know what you did in the future. Well, why'd you come back just to slap me about it now? I don't know what I would go back in time to tell my past self. Maybe to hang in there and not worry so much. I feel like time travel is going to be one of those things that, like, we'll be making fiction about forever and ever, but that's never going to actually be a reality. Because I think if it was a reality, we might have seen some evidence of it by now. Maybe that's not how it works. I did see a thing of like, okay, if we could get time travel to work in certain situations, then it would effectively be like time capsules. You could only send stuff into the future. Oh no! Well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Hooray! My time traveling self didn't visit me because I was right the whole time! Hooray! I will take this as a win. And not that my time traveling self died in a time explosion or whatever, because I messed up. Lost in the time stream. Woo! When did they start thinking of time travel stories? It's gotta be like a really old idea, right? I don't know. Right, this whole time, time travel self shows up. God damn it! I'm glad at least some websites out there are like, no thank you AI. Good grief, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Stop it. Please do maintain a bit of integrity. Actually, you know what? Another site I can think of that's in a good space like that, Comic Fury, where I have Skybox posted. That's been a pretty good thing. It's sticking with, you know, what it's doing, not trying to be like, oh, introduce all these new features that you don't want. It's just like, nope, here's a space to host your webcomics. Here's a space to upload them, and we'll maintain it. Like, thank you. I'm honestly thinking about, like, making an Undertale Deltarune forum or something as kind of a life raft in the event of another social media implosion. Tired of having to jump from place to place. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and orange juice and stuff. I'm back. Oh, I gotta pull out my thing. Okay, let's do it. Let's see if I can remember what the Newgrounds tank looks like, except for just like a tank. Okay. Let me pull out my, where is that? General Eldritchrune, quick doodles. Think it's towards the bottom. Where is it? Where is it? Let's just swap stream doodle page. Here we go. Okie dokie. I guess I can Google that, true. Let's see. Ugh. Why do I have newborn horse hooves in my Google search? Those things are terrible. Okay. Ah. Come here. Yeah, it's time to do that. Here's tank. I'm glad I looked this up, because otherwise I would not have remembered which direction the stupid tank was facing. Dun dun dun. Newgrounds tank. Yeah. I'm just a little guy in my tank. Looks like a monkey. Oh well. Ah. There we go. I blowed you up. There we go. Lovely explosion. Kaboom! Yes, there is. Well, it was a sword root, Chris. Add more to the list. Very weird list. Okay, where were we? We were on this page. Thank you. I just keep forgetting about my poor little doodle page. Someday we'll fill it out. Someday. It's going a weird route. Wah, wah, wah. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming. We shall continue on with doing these pages. I really haven't drawn much Snowgrave art, have I? Even if somebody asks me, like, how do you think Weird Route's gonna go in the future? I'm like, I'm not sure. Could go a number of ways. I can't see it stopping at, like, chapter 6, though. And that only chapter 7... Or that chapter 7 only continues with, like, the normal route. Yeah, they do a lot of, like, it's all very fancy. Classical poses, tragedy. So well researched. Well, also, if you want a proper sketch thing, There's always also Patreon. I do the sketch commissions for the $15 tier. You got the Grinch smile. Things took a weird route right now. I kind of wonder how long the weird route was planned for. It must have been for a while, but I wonder when that happened in comparison to the rest of the game. Dog twiddling realistic human thumbs. Yo-ho-ho. People really like that drawing I did of Toby twiddling realistic human thumbs. I see that one come up a lot. I assume it's that and not just Toriel catching snowflakes on her nose, but the dog twiddling realistic human thumbs. Yeah, I did try and kill the Titan spawn in one of my runs with my friends, but after I went back to that chapter 4 file, I'm like, you know what? Let's not actually kill them. Let's just do the banish. Oh no, this is an old one. This was a while ago. This was based off the newsletter where he said, "Picture dog twiddling realistic human thumbs," and I drew that. That was a while ago. That was a while ago. It's somewhere in my art tag stuff. I know it's saved there. But I still see that one getting notes more than like anything else in that category. So I'm like, okay, people like Toby twiddling realistic human thumbs. That's not what I wished for. I wished for a friend. That's not the kind of friend I was expecting. Giant monkey's paw. I wonder how many people have actually read the story of the monkey's paw. I think I read like a slightly kidified version of it a long time ago, but it was also, scary stories for kids kind of thing, so maybe it was, still trying to keep some of the scariness of it. But yes, I did read at least a version of the original story, The Monkey's Paw. Like, it's not just a phrase. It comes from an actual piece of fiction. I'll tell you what, though, it's a pretty useful metaphor for things. Well, Simpson's gonna get it from somewhere. A lot of stuff goes through The Simpsons. It was probably people's first exposure to the Raven, for example. But no, the original tale, just called The Monkey's Paw, is like about a poor family that they're in kind of dire straits or whatever, short on money, and then I'm probably paraphrasing some of this wrong, but then like a mysterious visitor comes to them. Says, "Oh, I can, give you, a way out of your troubles. You can wish upon this magic, this, monkey's paw that I got from, probably some racist caricature, because this was written a while ago, and there's debate about, whether you should use the monkey's paw or not, because it might give you what you want, but watch out." And they decide, what, screw it, we're just gonna we're going to use the monkey's paw anyway. And so they wish for, like, money, because, they're poor and they're trying to make ends meet. So they wish for money. And the problem is the money comes when their son, who is, you know, this big strapping guy, and is the only one that can work well. He's working in a factory. He gets killed in the factory in an accident in a horrible way. And basically they then get a big cash settlement from the company because their son was killed in an accident. Oh no, they've gotten all this money, but now their son is dead in a horrible way. And so they're like, well, what's the point of this money? And so, you know, the mom wishes, I just want my son back. I wish for my son to come back. And unfortunately, because the son was, you know, dead and buried, he comes back, and he comes back as like this mangled zombie, like knocking at the door. And they're like, oh no, you know, this isn't what we wished for anyway. We can't deal with this anymore. So they just, like, instead of trying to wish something good out of this, they're just like, I just wish that, you know, the son went away and was dead again. And that's their third wish. So things ended badly because of the monkey's paw. But yeah, the genie specifically, it's like you're not guaranteed to have, you know, a bad thing happen from your wish. With the monkey's paw, it's like, okay, you'll get what you asked for, but it will be in a horrible way with consequences you didn't think about. That doesn't necessarily happen with the genie, but it does happen with the monkey's paw. Yeah, that is the original. That is a paraphrasing of the original story. Which a lot of those stories just like punish these people for being poor. They're like, man, I wish I had a way out of poverty, and it's like, you wanted to wish a way out of poverty. Well, we're gonna kill your son about it. Okay, thanks, monkey's paw. It's like I get the point you're trying to make, but did you have to make it to these people? Okay. Everybody like, holy crap, the effect will be drawn here later and it'll be really scary. These little guys. Yeah, I do wonder how much classic literature, poetry, or all this other stuff people got their first exposure to from The Simpsons. Like, I'm pretty sure, you know, they did do, like, The Raven. Stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure they did A Streetcar Named Desire. Yeah. I can't do the Godzilla roar. The squawk, whatever it is. Like, heck yeah, I get to do the Godzilla roar. It's possible. Simpsons do everything. Not sure if I want to have this color for... Yeah, let's do this color for the shading, I think. I'm going to have to maintain this throughout the thing. Susie finally gets to do a cool kaiju roar. She's excited about the buffet. It's open finally. It's all you can eat. Which is especially a problem with her because she can eat a lot. We demand that you set up a delicious buffet. I haven't seen any Simpsons in a while now that I think about it. It used to be one of those things we just watched a bunch as a family when I was younger. Especially because one of my younger siblings is big into it. But he had like a bunch of them on DVD. But I am not up to date with the modern ones. Which I've heard they're just okay. Probably kind of tough to keep Simpsons going in the same way it was previously, when the things it was being subversive towards kind of no longer exist. It's like, okay, is it possible to be subversive in other ways? Don't know. Susie is fun. Eldritchrune Susie is fun to draw, though. I'm kind of glad that she got repurposed from Paper Trail, because originally I was like, oh, this was such a fun Susie to draw. Oh darn, I'm never gonna get to do that again. And then lo and behold. Maybe there was a monkey's paw involved in that. I don't know. Somehow appropriate with Guardian playing, too. Man, I don't know how we're gonna, like, we just had a Titan boss battle. I don't know how Asgore's gonna top that. Like, Asgore, I'm sorry, just not quite as scary as a manifestation of the fear of the darkness itself. And oh yeah, that on a graphic I saw that was like, okay, you know, if the various characters are connected through like fears, where friend is like, you know, fear of the unknown with game glitches, and the knight is, you know, the fear of fate and inevitability with what the knight has going on, and then ERAM is the fear of the self and what you're capable of, since that especially connects with Chris. Happy, peaceful little town. Psych! Eldritch monster invasion. True. Ah! I need to draw her being wiggly more often. She's fun when she's like wiggly. And does creepy poses. I'll say it's a little annoying trying to shade around her hair. Oh well. Can't wait for more SCP-687 jokes. Although, did they change his design or something? I heard that happened. Isn't the original photos for 687 like basically a whale carcass or something? It looks like a whale carcass. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe I just misheard. I thought I heard something about that his design got changed. I'm like, oh, okay. I know they changed, oh, good grief, what was it? 146, 196? I don't remember which one. The statue, because that was an actual, like, piece of art that's, like, you know, an artist made and is copyrighted and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, we can't exactly, you know, make, games or whatever that we sell to people because this this design belongs to an artist who may or may not want their art being used for like horror stuff. So I think they've come up with like different designs for the statue, which is fun. It's fun people come up with their own designs. Like I'm not surprised people are like, oh, I found this scary picture and it was weird. Let's make a story about it. It was basically all the back rooms was also here's a scary picture. Let's make a story about it. But those are actual places, or presumably that's an actual place. And the statue is actual art. And 682 is a whale carcass of some kind. I'm not sure which other ones are famous that are based off of a famous picture or something like that. A popular spooky photo. Look at the spooky photo. I'll tell you a spooky story along with the spooky photo. You know, at least people haven't been like, oh, that's 682 about Susie in a while, so I will take that, thank you. Oh, something going on with the thing back there? Why are those not filled in? Why are those rocks not filled in? What happened? I have to go back to that. I mean, that's pretty much what he is. Yeah, he's like, hell yeah, EXP hotspot. Time to grind. Is everything a game to you, Birdly? Yes? Why shouldn't it be? We don't even know what your video games are. Maybe he's not sure either. Oh yeah, you probably do Skyrim stuff. Problem is, I'm not familiar with Skyrim, so hard for me to make Skyrim jokes. I kind of gotta like guesstimate them. Haven't played Skyrim or Elden Ring or Minecraft, and I'm not a real gamer. You're finally awake. You got caught in that Imperial thingamadoo. Just like me and that thief over there. Why is that ending so or not ending? The start. Why is that start so famous and memeable? And this has been memed a lot. Why is that one specifically? People like I've seen it all over the place, and I laugh at it every time as well. But I'm like, why is this one the one that people decided to meme on and have fun with? It's like it's a cute opening or a cool opening, but I don't know. I've seen it memed so much. Pretty much all I know about Skyrim is like that opening, and I shouted a bunch of cabins down a mountain because that was neat, and also you yell at dragons. That's the extent of my knowledge. I have approximate knowledge of many things, and by approximate I mean very approximate. And even that reference is just approximate knowledge. The one issue is shading in all of Susie's long hairs. I have approximate knowledge of some things. Yeah, that's actually probably more accurate for me. I have extensive knowledge of 2 video games and approximate knowledge of some things, and the rest, very, very useful knowledge to have, of course. Will serve me well in life. It's like, can you change a tire? No, but I do know what this one NPC says in a video game for kids. Thank you, brain. Brain's like, no problem, I'm just holding on to the important stuff. This is a happy girl. A giant piece of weed. Oh, it's because of the roof, I think. Like, how does that work? Because of the thatched roof. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. And they're thatched roof cottages! You gotta get Trogdor in here. Thank you for coming. We are still working on some shading for this part 2. When was my stretch break again? I forgot. I want to do a bit more hair stuff here. Trying to fill it out. Yeah. Too many long hairs. Susie, you need to cut your hairs. Get a haircut. Actually, I don't think I want to see Eldritch Susie with a haircut. I think that would be kind of worse. She needs the long hairs or else it's going to be bad. And speaking of this song, I do have to come up with designs with for some of the Tinna's minions, since I know those at least would show up in the boss battle. I think it would have to be Chris. They're the one with the sword. I just don't think she would let them do that. Yeah, I need to do designs for Pippins and Zappers and also Shadow Men. And so those do show up in the Tenna boss battle a bit. I gotta make them look spooks. They gotta look like scary but non-threatening, because ultimately, like, none of Tenna's minions are that threatening as guys. Oh no. That would be the worst way to get a haircut. That'd be a very extended and painful haircut. Her teeth are not made for snippities, for snips. And I know that Susie would not let Birdly anywhere near it. It's like, I can make a great haircut. Look at how nicely my feathers are preened. It's about Noelle. She's the one with the long shaggy hair. Even more so than Susie, honestly. There goes the burb. I gotta do some, like, motion blur on some of these guys. Keep forgetting that. Well, and I actually think, before I go on to this page, it is time for a stretch break. And then we'll come on to here. Everybody's hanging out and having a good time in the light world. Well, everybody but the humans. They are not going to have a good time. I do need to include more Eldritchrune Suzel, though. I'll try and get those in the next two with... Oh, okay. I can get a little bit in with the Garrison thing. And then I think also with the ERAM scene, I can get some... a little bit in there too. As our girlfriends. Yeah. Hair's all over me. Jeez. How to do them? Especially since working this hard, I can feel it a little bit in my wrist. stretchies. Excuse me. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and all that. Alrighty, I'm back. Something happened with the music? Hello? Did you stop? No. Nope, it's just quiet. Okay. I was like, where did it go? It's just a quiet song. Alright. I have to go back in with the hello. Oh, it's on the bottom here. Nice. Which layer is this? I'll have to go back in with the black spots later, especially for like Caddy and Jockington and Rousey, but he doesn't show up until the last page of this one, so I'm getting through this decently. We're on like about halfway through. In case like I'm here too, just don't forget about me, or do. Add so many effects and stuff in here later as well. But that's usually the last section. That is not the correct color. And then it turned bright green. But nobody could tell the difference because it was in black and white. Maybe 15 is too big for this. Fine. do enjoy drawing Susie with big Lizord grin. That is a funness. Big scary Lizord smile. Susie, Birdly, Noelle, Caddy, Jockington, MK. Yes. And Ralsei too. But those are the beasts that are actually here and attacking. Susie does look happy because they're at the Light World and now there's a big buffet open for her. She's gonna get her snacks. So many Susie snacks, like Scooby snacks, except they're people. She is unbanned from Free Human Sandwich Day. Exactly. And I wish I could squeeze that joke in there, but I can't. I'll have to put it in like the description or something. Ralsei is here. He hasn't, again, he shows up at the end of this part. And he kind of keeps out of the way until, like, Good Grief Part 10 or so. He has a lot more to do, towards the end of the ending. We'll be seeing a lot more of him then. But he does show up for various things. Like here he is on the... I already did the last page for him. See, he finally takes off the hat. Finally, we get hatless Ralsei. At the very end of the story. Yep, that's what they do best. No, I have not done Eldritchrune Snowy because I don't know what to do for him. Like, I don't want to do like a snow-based thing because that's what Noelle already has going on. If I ever think of it, I'll do it, but I've not had ideas for that. I think he's going to have... the backstory for him would have to be that they just did not recruit him. It went wrong. No, I wish I had an idea for him, but I just have not gotten that yet. Language and tricks. Very bad puns. Yeah, and also Birdly is similar since he is also Burb. It's more of a thing. I'm like, okay, what new ground could I cover with Snowy? I'm not sure. He's too prejudiced to travel with a human. Exactly. I can't believe in the game. MK's like, Snowy, you can't say that about a human. The microaggressions. Noble steed. I think that because they've used like Susie and Noelle and Birdly as steeds. Don't think that's happened with Caddy and Jockington yet. And I do eventually want to do the scene where they meet Caddy and Jockington. We can get some cool stuff with that. But people voted for that one last in the poll, so might be a while. What do you cow? A cow with no legs. Ground beef, just like you. Caddy and Jockington meeting scene. That one came on last in the poll. It came in last. But something had to. Basically, as far as I recall, basically, like, Garrison scene came in first, then the Tenna fight, then the ERAM fight, then meeting Caddy and Jockington. Good grief, maybe by the time I get to that scene, we will actually have them in canon again. Ugh. I know, I can't believe everybody was like, oh, who cares about Caddy and Jockington? Whatever, they're not going to show up. They don't even have a voice clip or whatever. And that now all of a sudden it's turned around and they're like, oh, actually, Caddy and Jockington, they're a friend and a goner and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, now you think they're cool. Now you do it. I told y'all, you didn't believe me. I know. No imagination. I'm like, look at the potential. And now you only think it's potential because you're like, that's friend. And I'm like, you see pink and yellow and you think that's a friend? Just like Mike warned you. It's gonna be so weird for outsiders. Like, we're just calling this character friend, and then we're like, who's this guy? Oh, the imagination, indeed. Yeah, like, friend is interesting, but I'll admit, I'm not sure what to do with friend yet. I don't know what friend means. It means something. But what that is, I do not know. I mean, I'm guessing that nobody's theories about friends are going to be right. I don't think we know enough about friend to like maybe somebody guessed correctly, but I don't know if we have enough information on that. I'm not even sure. Okay, how relevant is friend going to be to this? I don't know. I find it interesting that people have, like, paired friend and the Tale of Hell together, even though I'm like, do we know these things go together? I mean, I guess the reason why we think they go together is because friend has an association with cat petters. Cat petters has all the things made out of, like, circles and spheres. And then the Tale of Hell is made out of spheres. Although for some reason, like, when I see that, I think the bead toy from the hospital. Oh yeah, like, data mining is fun and all that, but I imagine whatever friend is, like, once it's explained, you won't need to data mine for it. I don't know if Shum knows anything about friend. They are both cats. At least from what we've seen. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything that is going to be explained to us eventually is going to require you data mining to find out that explanation. Because while that's a fun thing for people who are interested in it to do, obviously most people are not going to be able to do that. So, you would make it accessible to everybody in some sense. Like, all we know right now is, for friend is, okay, that they are a thing that can show up sometimes in that part of chapter 2, like a quick blink and you'll miss it, scary face. They are the little guys with ERAM that, you know, can hurt you but also drop health if you need it, assuming you're at that stage. And we get little hints for them with Pluie, basically being like, you think pink and yellow means a friend. Trying to think of what else they do. And even then, like, I think if it's your first run against ERAM, they don't drop any health. It has to be like your second one at least. Friend is friend. It also seems like they're kind of on the same layer as like the device layer, basically, for going by device theory sort of stuff. And that they're like, I can move around between layers of reality. Yeah. It's in the same caps as, like, you know, all the stuff from the device. What that is trying to communicate, I am not sure. It does seem to be separate from Gaster, even if Gaster is also in kind of the same reality layer thing as whatever friend is doing. I definitely do not think that friend is related to Woody the cowboy doll. I think friend might have bigger fish to fry. But I also don't think Caddy and Jockeyton are supposed to be friend. The ideal friend shape. I mean, the ideal friend shape is a cat. Is a fluffy thing. Although, I submit to you, also friend shaped, lizard. That is also shaped like a friend. Yeah, exactly. We see friends show up in that form. And, you know, again in chapter 2, just a brief little blink there. And then friend shows up in the same form in the Mantle game, which is kind of a separate layer of reality from whatever Chris is experiencing, even in the Dark World. And we'll know things are getting exceptionally weird if we see that kind of form of friend in the Light World as well. That's when I'll be like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mostly I'm kind of like, I almost feel like this is kind of the role that ICE was supposed to be in. Like, how does ICE figure into this? Because there's weird things going on with ICE as well. Why is ice coming out of the pipes? Icy coming out of the pipes. Are you in the woods somewhere, friend? Cheshire catting your way around here? Hiring Icy to do your evil bidding? Whatever that is, I don't know. Icy is scary. I have seen it suggested that friend is like the demon that Chris tried to summon, which I kind of hope isn't true, because I still like the idea that we are the demon that Chris summoned, possessing them and all that. But I'm like, I can't discount the fact that, you know, it could be friend. They do look pretty spooky scary in that situation. That is a possibility. We definitely had it reiterated in chapter 4. Like, hey Chris, didn't you try and summon a demon? Like, how do you know that, Susie? You just hear that on the grapevine? Here's a friend. It's Caddy and Jockington. They're the friend of this universe. Extremely pettable. Oh, that would be interesting. That it was becoming a darkener in her presence. Her powers of imagination are too strong. They can't be stopped. Especially since we know that it seems like a lot of the stuff that, Chris made, their own darkeners back when they had, like, Queen and all that. Yeah, the computer shenanigans. Because definitely Queen has a soft spot for Noelle, and she's like, oh, I just want her to be happy. We know they played together. Searching for the basketball hoops. Exactly. Noelle definitely has weird things going on involving herself and glitches. She is adept at basically finding secrets. That would be interesting, though, if Noelle is very adept at making darkeners just because she has such a powerful imagination and determination in that sense. And if you're not careful, that power can go out of control, which makes it all the worse that she was, killing darkeners in Chapter 2 in the Weird Route. That is probably the last thing she would want, because she was nice to a spam email because she was like, I feel bad, just deleting the spam email. I'll answer it. Noelle's natural inclination is to be kind even to inanimate objects, and the Darkners remember that. Zero self-preservation, yes, unfortunately. Please don't answer the spam emails. Those are not good for you. He gave her his special egg. Hello, thank you for coming. It said I want a free car. I can't even drive yet. And the thing is, I think she knows there's, she's not dumb. She knows that they're spam emails. She knows that they're dangerous. She would just be like, I still feel bad, throwing it away or ignoring it, even though I know it's what it is. She's too compassionate. And she couldn't stand to watch those, videos where somebody just, trolls a scam caller, tries to keep them on the phone forever and then just tricks him and all that stuff. She'd be like, I know they're a scam caller, but that's mean. Here to save a little fluffy boy's life, I can't just ignore that. Exactly. Here for a special egg. Left home due to happiness. They're just doing their jobs, Chris. I know scamming people isn't right, but it's also kind of funny, don't you think? What does this person even mean they're a prince of Nigeria? They don't have a monarchy. I don't know, I feel like there's something is going to come from the fact that I feel like Des was unnecessarily, like, harsh and cruel with her inanimate objects, while Noelle is unnecessarily kind with her inanimate objects and understanding with them. And the fact that, oh, Darkners are still people in some way. Something about that. Something about that. I ordered something? Oh, I've gotten that scam recently. We're holding your package at the place. We can't give you a proper website for it, though, but trust us. You know, on the nice girl, a kind of messed up side. I'm kind of leaning towards the kind of messed up side. I think she was cool and independent. I think she was definitely lashing out against her way too strict parents. I think she was fiercely, like, you know, protective of the kids, the younger kids, and all that stuff. I think she was cool, but I don't think she was necessarily nice. I think she might have just been kind of, you know, throw caution to the wind, not really thinking about, like, you know, how this might affect people. Way too strict mother, I guess that would be correct. Way too strict. It was definitely the problem is the mom, in this sense. But, yeah, I think she was just didn't think through the consequences of her actions very much. And that might have caused a problem. Devs do not get royalties from games. And also, like, the fact of the matter is, the game industry is so bad right now that, like, you can do a massive success and still get fired because, like, some investors are like, the profits aren't high enough. So, like, whatever is going on, yeah, they're losing their jobs anyway. It's not about what kind of product they're putting out. You can put out a smash hit or a total dud. It doesn't matter, because the capitalism as it is right now is like, what, did you make $1 bajillion for investors? No? Well, then away you go. Here's my tax write-off. Like, people's jobs are already suffering. It doesn't matter how well the sales are. Yeah, it's a mess. What we need is a union, union. What you need right now is a union. Protect your rights as a worker. That's my union song. Exactly. We made our quota plus extra. You're fired. Like, you joke, but that's the reality now for a lot of people. It's pretty messed up. What you need is a union. Unionize your workplace. Da, 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 da. With collective power, you can stand up to the people that are doing this to you. What I do? Steve Minecraft. Yeah, Activision Blizzard's pretty bad on a number of fronts. So, we'll see how it is with December holiday, but I wouldn't be surprised if whatever bad thing happened to her and the other kids was kind of initiated by her, but Chris is still taking the fall for it. Chris is still blaming himself. Especially if they lashed out in anger about something and, like, things went terribly bad and they feel bad about it, but are also then, like, kind of scared of themselves and what they're capable of if they did lash out in anger about something. Or fear. Either one counts. Like, those kind of go hand in hand often. Oh, it's a big dragon coming out to get us. Ah! Hopefully someday we'll find out what the bad thing was and how that went down and how the heck something's going on with Des now if she's the knight, because that's a weird state to be in. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, I kind of wonder if that's why Chris, make sure you have your soul before going to the dark world, is gonna be bad. Yeah, I can see her being kind of selfish and, you know, doing stuff for her own entertainment. Again, I think she does, you know, care about the kids, the younger kids. She looks out for them. But she also, again, doesn't think through the consequences of things very well. Can be kind of selfish and doesn't treat objects very well. Which, in a world where objects are people, could be bad. Could be a problem. Also, I'll go back in and fill in eyes later. And yet Chris really wanted to imitate her. They thought she was just the coolest. You entered a dark world without a soul, and it treats you like any other object. Yeah, there's good grief. If I could just formulate it in my brain, there's like a comic I wish I could do where, you know, chapter 5 thing, where Susie and Noelle are going on their date to the festival, and they see Jackenstein, you know, as a decoration, you know, up at the festival, because that's what he's for. And, you know, oh, Susie's, you know, excited because, oh, it's Jack, and, you know, maybe almost gives away a little dark world stuff there, but, like, you know, Noelle's like, oh, you know, I used to be so scared of this thing when I was a little kid. So, you know, to show that there's nothing to be afraid of, you know, Des would just, you know, punch it and kick it and stuff like that. And then Susie, you know, kind of thinks about this and kind of like, you know, I kind of wonder if maybe that made this guy feel bad to be treated like that. And Noelle's like, oh, no, maybe you're right, kind of thing. Just, I don't know, some sweet, like, Suzelle scene, but also something about, like, you know, being treated for how you're treated for looking scary, resonating with Susie in regards to Jack specifically. Like, it's like a half idea formed in my brain, but I just haven't, like, it hasn't hit well enough for me to be like, okay, I have to draw this. Yeah, she might hit her with that, but then I think if Susie objected to that, then that might get Noelle to think a bit more about it. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess that would not feel very good. She doesn't know. But again, while I don't think Des treated objects very well, I think Noelle is pretty good at treating, like, you know, taking objects seriously and treating them like, oh, this is, you know, I have to be nice to this. So she was, you know, this is a conflict between, like, her looking up to Des, who treated objects badly, and then her own self of like, oh, but I care about Susie, and, you know, Susie is like, well, how would this thing feel? Gets her to think about it as well. Delta explosion. Exactly. Treat your objects nicely. They're going to remember you. Bring them to your castle town. So if I could work out how that scene would go exactly, I think that would be a cute scene. It's something I could see happening in Chapter 5. Something with those two talking about deaths and also in relation, Jack. How do we treat things based on if we think they're scary or not? As that would really resonate with Susie. Yeah, exactly, because we don't know if Susie really has much of a... Oh shoot, it's time for me to stretch. I almost forgot. Time flies. I'm taking too long. I am, Tim. Always taking too long. That is me with this comic. It's always taking too long. I feel you, Toby. It's taking too long. Yeah, I guess then that would depend on if, you did a full recruits run or not previously. I get the feeling that it is actually going to be important for us to recruit everybody, because every time you recruit everybody, the scene at the end changes and things improve a little bit if you do all recruits, or even most recruits. I think I still got the scene of Jack saving everybody when I missed Miss Mizzle. Because the first time I played, I forgot where Miss Mizzle was. I didn't recruit her. I'm crying. Yeah, even worse if the knight killed Jack. Ooh. I think that's something that could happen in a later chapter. I've seen the Jack death cutscene. It's basically like when you're trying to climb the tower, if you don't have enough recruits, the knight will cut Jack free from the tower and he just falls. And as far as you know, he is effectively dead. I mean, maybe not, but they definitely act like, something horrible has happened to him because he fell from the tower. It's bad. Mostly I've just seen it if I'm watching a speed run, because if you're speed running, you're probably not going to recruit everybody, even if you do the bosses. So skipping all recruits means that Jack doesn't make it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, basically, you need to recruit most people, at least most people in Chapter 4. If you do not recruit enough people in Chapter 4, at the scene where Jack helps you climb up the tower, the glass tower when it's crumbling, he will throw the fun gang to safety before the knight smashes that part of the tower he's on, and he falls off the tower, and Susie is devastated. And maybe he's not dead, but it looks like he dies. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be so rough. It's gonna be so rough, especially since Noelle does see some of the sister that she misses in Susie. They're both rebels. They both do what they want, but there's a lot of things about that, about deaths, even separate from the knight, but probably definitely conjoined with the knight, where they would just be at each other's throats. It's dire. Recruit people. Don't forget Miss Mizzle. Don't forget the Wickabells and the Biblioxes and all that. Don't forget, or they'll be dead in the dark. Ah! I'm using. Oh no! Jackinson, I'm Mary Poppins! Yeah, I get the feeling that we're going to have to do something else with Jack, since he specifically... Susie's like, oh, we can't take him back to Castletown right now. I mean, it's you or me. Oh. Oh. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and water and all that goodness. Alright, I return. Time for more. Let's see what we can get done in the time we got. Hey, we are on page 5, which is pretty good. Yeah. Wrong one. This one. Thank you. I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, when would they'd be able to take everybody from the church back to Castletown, and then I'm kind of like, oh, Susie probably did it, on her own after they get to, Chris's house, and there's Sans there, and she's like, never mind. I'm guessing that she was like, okay, now that I know, how we deal with recruits and stuff, I'll just cart everything I can see from the church over to Castletown, so that by the time we get there in chapter 5, recruits are all there. Yeah, exactly. I have no clue how some of those are supposed to work. Like, okay, we can do the bells and the incense thing and whatever. How do the organics work? I don't think she's taking the whole pipe organ. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Chris is feeling a way about being home. Feeling a certain way. We had to have that sad scene where we're just like sitting by the lake and Chris howls like a sad puppy. Susie suplexes this church organ just because she can. True. 2 a.m. church robbing. And you gotta think she was like kind of lingering by Garrison's remains in the office and was like thinking, oh, I want to take this, I can't, and just, leaves it, and she's so sad. Yeah, exactly. Just, oh, the timing was so bad. It's so sad because Susie was preparing to ask, she's like, can I stay over again? And then as soon as she came to that, she's like, oh, never mind, I'm just gonna go to my own place. Like, oh no, Susie! Susie! I know, if Sans is gonna become friends with these kids, he's gonna have to work his butt off. Sir, you're gonna have to really endear yourself to them. Especially to Susie, because right now, like, I don't think she thinks very fondly of you at all. She's mostly like, okay, you're that weird guy that, you know, is messing with us by the grocery store whenever we go to the grocery store, and then also got this nice lady I like drunk. I'm not fond of you. So, I don't know how he's gonna get into her good graces, but he's gonna do something. Had to write a fic about it. Oh. Sir, you're gonna have to work to endear yourself. I get the feeling that Undertale Sans, I don't know if he's a jerk, he's just he's cut himself off extremely from everybody else because he's like, I'm just very nihilistic. And part of me is also like, I want him to be in this situation in Undertale because of mistakes he made in Deltarune. Wherein people are like, okay, how did he get from, you know, Deltarune to Undertale? I want the lesson with Sans to be that he thought he was 2 steps ahead of the narrative. He thought he was like, oh, I know how this is going to go. I'm not going to involve myself in this. I'm taking myself out of the story before it ends badly. And because of that, he screwed himself and Papyrus over. I want some kind of commentary on people thinking that they've got the story solved when they don't. Yeah. He had to become good at reading people. Sans, you need to have a negative character arc. Woo, characters doomed by hubris. Exactly. I want that man to be doomed by his hubris. You could have had a happier ending if you had just had some trust in the people in your life. Mods, damn him to an AU. Mike, banish him to the original game. And then, ironically, he gets damned to every AU. He can't escape any of them. It's AUs all the way down. Mike, punish him to a multiverse. And a Tumblr sexy man. Mike, blow up his house. We finally explained Sans' arcane lore. The hubris, it was all him. He brought it on himself. You tried to escape the narrative. No, John, you are the narrative. Now, dun dun dun. Be your parents in another timeline, and this timeline could be a snack. Imagine if you tried to escape being doomed by the narrative, but the narrative said, son, you've doomed yourself out of the narrative. Now suffer my worst narrative. You will suffer a lifetime of narratives. You will never be free of the narrative. What if you wanted to escape the narrative, but God said, doomed? I want something like that. I don't want Sans to escape the narrative because he's just the specialist, you know, God's favorite child. I want him to escape the narrative and it screws him over because of hubris. Please, Toby, let that happen because it would be so fucking funny. That's my thoughts on that. It's okay, Sans. You may be doomed by the narrative, but you get to kill the Queen of England and be in Smash Brothers. I'm like, oh, fair trade-off. Meanwhile, Papyrus is just here for the spaghetti, I guess. What is your deal, Papyrus? What is your deal? Why have we not seen you? Oh, right. Gotta have the fingers in his ass Sunday, which that is today, so, you know, good timing, good timing. Also, he, like, helped promo a wrestler or something? I don't know much about wrestling. Icy Warrior Papyrus Theory. He was icy all along! No, Nagito. That is my prediction, though. We're gonna see Papyrus in Chapter 5, but he's gonna be in a Halloween costume. So we're not quite sure if that's actually him or not. And he's the only one in the Halloween costume. Because he thought it was a costume party. So we see him, but we don't. Like, is that actually him? Is, like, costume? What's going on with him? That's what's going to happen. It's going to drive everybody insane. We will see Asriel. He'll be a big nerd. Coming in at the most inopportune time. I'm standing in his Undertale battle pose. True. The one hand on the hip. I think it's just a meme. I think that whole thing is just a meme. The main reason why I think we'll see Papyrus eventually is his name is there in Gaster's interesting list. My list of interest. Along with Asriel. So it seems like he's gonna show up. In some capacity. Well, into Ice Palace. She'll make her own Ice Palace. If you can't get store-bought if you can't make homemade Ice Palace, store-bought is fine. Mostly, she's interested in finding the holiday house and making that into Ice Palace. What if you were having a nice fall day in your hometown, but a giant deer said ice cube? PK freeze! I think this is probably his worst because she can burn places down. Merry Christmas, Mayor Holiday. I'm imagining that in the style of like, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Which, that was a good joke. So, holiday family, how does Christmas fit into your religion? Did you just appropriate that from, like, Christianity and be like, you know what, we'll take that too, that's fun. We'll base our personalities around this holiday. Does it have anything to do with our religion? Well, no, not really, but, you know, aesthetically, look at this. Look at this stuff. Don't forget DH6, squawk! Revenge of the Pagans. The theme of Christmas. We like these aesthetics. Yoink! Okay, yoink. My culture is not a costume. I shout at the holidays in their McMansion. You stare Yuletide, we'll steal Christmas back. Miss Holiday's like, screw your culture. They didn't want to trust Asgore with that. We'll name him Chris. You know, short for Christmas. Exactly, says the giant eldritch reindeer with all the matted hair. It makes perfect sense. What should we name this human? Christmas. Can we shorten that? Chris. Okay, sure. Susie's like, heck yeah, it's time for snacks. Christmas snacks. What's out the drum gun? Parumpa-pum-pum. Yeah, I'm not sure what Asgore would have named Chris. I get the feeling it'd be like human-y. Asgore, we're not naming our child that. Why not? It's a fine name. That's not what you name a human. Exactly. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Just for her. Kid named Togor. You know what? It seems like Togor is replacing the Run Over Death theme. Good. I prefer a weird little kid, a weird little guy to the Running Over Death meme. This is preferable. I don't understand Togor, but I don't care. At least it's a funny, weird little guy. That is preferable. Although, Asgore almost naming Chris Togor would be very funny. I think that is the point. It is ugly as hell. I just prefer a weird, ugly little child to the Running Over Death meme. I was heckin' tired of that. Everybody's also ready for snacks. It did have its time in the sun. Like, thank you for finally sunsetting. Finally sunsetting. Let us move on to other memes. As cringe as they are. God damn it. Anyway, Rickroll will always be funny. It's been like, what, a decade? Rickroll's still funny. Some memes just have the power of God and anime on their side, I guess. It's no easy thing to do a lasting meme. remember when they were like old cat pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, the one variant I liked of the, like, I did not like the running over deaths meme. The one version I did like that made me laugh was the version where Garrison does the thing and then gets in the car and runs through the prophecy. That was funny. Wine was serving. Like the Garrison one, I was like, okay, that's cute. I like that. Birdly, why did you call Noelle and say, you're looking very servine this evening? Like, you just looked that up in a thesaurus and like, this'll work. This'll do it. That's true. It's because Garrison is the best. Forget, you know, everybody else for Smash. We need Garrison in Smash, and he'll just be like, "I'm old," through the Wiimote. Technically appropriate adjective, possibly a racial slur. Then again, to Chris, he was like, "Stay sanguine." So was he being like, you know, stay cheerful because sanguine can mean cheerful, or was he like, stay bloody, human? You humans with your blood? That is true. He was a Smash 64 player, true. Yeah, Undyne would have been good in Smash. I'd be good with Susie in Smash. She should be in Smash. Why not both? True. Put them all in Smash. Can't stop us. They're on that Switch too. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Birdly was like, sanguine is in happy and sanguine is in bloody. Ah, there's a double meaning in this word. Chris will appreciate my vocabulary. And if they don't, they should. I would not put Frisk in Smash. I don't think that would work. They are a little child. Immediately thought of Garrison. Exactly. I'm gonna think of Garrison every time I see somebody say I'm old. That's just how it's gonna be from now on. They can, but honestly, I feel like I don't know if they'd have a very interesting moveset. Like, this is basically Villager from Animal Crossing again. Except Villager from Animal Crossing can actually do more. I guess, like, use all the weapons, like, I don't know. Attack with knife, attack with notebook, attack with, tough gloves. I think Undyne would be a more interesting fighter. I guess you could do some fun stuff. I feel like you would definitely have to have Susie as the Deltarune fighter, though. Oh, good grief, do I have time to do that one? Frying pan, bonk! Kabong! Don't know if I have time to finish off this page. We'll just do a little bit more up there. But hey, we got to page 6. Not bad, not bad. Well, is it a matter if they're representative enough or if they're just an appropriate fighter? What are the qualifications for it? Like, yeah, for most games you're gonna have the main character as the fighter because they're both representative of the story and they're usually what the player character is doing involves some kind of, you know, action or fighting. But hey, at least Sans got in, kind of. There are like a million Fire Emblem characters in there, yes. I'm sure they all make sense. But I haven't played Fire Emblem, so I don't know what that sense is. their final smash is just mercy. Everybody gets healed? No, it's mercy kill. You all get knocked off the board. It's so sad that Asriel abandoned Yoshi because Yoshi is my main. No, Asriel, how could you? They just grab the mercy button and slap you in the face. The power of the meta-narrative compels me. He's a fake Yoshier. No! Now he's into Sword Magician Lady, who I forget what that's supposed to be. He should have gone for Blue Penguin, or Big Penguin. Maybe Lucina? I feel like somebody has said before what that character is supposed to be, Sword Magician Lady or whatever. Either Robin or Pyrrha from 4 and Ultimate, respectively. Interesting. What a weird choice. I guess did Super Smashing Fighters have all the variations that we have with this as well? Alright, I'm going to do a little thing real quick on these guys, and then I think we'll have to call it quits. So I gotta get lunch. Oh, it's a big bird. Oh no, it's going to crap on my house. Ah! No. Oh no. We gotta find a better word for that. I mean, he's a college age boy. That's a, you know. He is a regular guy. Not the golden child everybody thinks of. That Pyrrha. Surely this will not mess him up at all. Why do you have to go to college? You can learn everything you need from television. Your mom was not a fan of alligators in bikinis. Why not, Mom? You got a problem with alligators in bikinis? Okay. I'm gonna have to stop here, I think, because it is noon. I got through a good amount of this shading and stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and also do, like, eyes and stuff like that. Infomercials, baby! So, yay, progress. I actually might do another art stream later in the week, maybe Wednesday or something. And we'll finally do some stuff on the Garrison scene. Because I want to do some streams of that, and I'm just still in the middle of roughs for that. So, I will finish the roughs for that, and then maybe we will do another arts for Garrison scene in the middle of the day. Not the middle of the day, the middle of the week. And then also more Mother 3 on Friday, no matter what. With a good diet. Oh, it'll just be lunch. But yes, thank you guys so much for coming to the stream and chatting with me about all the craziness. It has been fun, and I appreciate y'all being here and hanging out with me, because you all are super cool and the awesomest. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And yeah, maybe we'll do more on Wednesday. I will see you all next time. Alrighty, I'll see you later.